Hello, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedu Data. These are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank, Nero Prime Water.
Trades Union Congress, TUC, demands immediate suspension of PURC's utility tariff implementation plan.
And also coming up tonight, Western Region intensifies fight against illegal mining with team targeting removing all Chamfan machines and equipment from Akoba River.
And later in the bulletin, Bawku mediation report expected to be presented to President John Mahama on Thursday, the 11th of December, 2025.
Coming up in business news tonight, Chartered Institute of Taxation Ghana offers supportive view of government tax cuts, arguing changes are more likely to boost public compliance than to damage revenue performance.
On the international front, World Health Organization Chief Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus describes attack on a kindergarten and hospital in Sudan, which killed 114 people, as senseless. Let's settle in for the details. Remember, we are live around the world on 3news.com and on Facebook and on YouTube as well.
We begin from the labor front, where the Trades Union Congress is demanding an immediate suspension of the latest utility tariff increases, warning the government to halt the move or face strong resistance from organized labor. Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, Joshua Ansah, was addressing a news conference in Accra.
Last week, the PURC announced new tariff adjustments, 9.8% for electricity and 15.9% for water. The announcement has sparked anger among the TUC and its affiliate unions. Addressing a news conference in Accra, TUC Secretary General Joshua Ansah described the increases as insensitive and urged government to immediately suspend their implementation.
In the spirit of fairness and mutual respect for our social partnership, we demand that government suspends the announced tariff increases. Government and PURC should, as a matter of priority, immediately engage as agreed to exhaust the consultative process.
He warned that failure to act swiftly would provoke the full wrath of the TUC.
Leadership of TUC wishes to assure Ghanaian workers that it will resist any tariff increases that would erode the mega 9% government wage adjustment unless government comes back to the negotiating table to top up the 2026 wage adjustment.
The TUC Secretary General Joshua Ansah also called on government to review upward the recently announced base pay adjustment, insisting that the 9% increase is inadequate.
Why should workers pay for the new tariff increment come January 1, 2026, when their mega 9% pay adjustment will be paid at the end of January 2026? This obviously borders on insensitivity. We gonna rule the union.
In more news this evening, or in a related development, the minority in Parliament is calling for the immediate reversal of the recent utility tariff hikes, describing it as insensitive. Addressing journalists, the ranking member on the Energy Committee, George Kwame Abuaje, says that the proposed tariff hike reflected failed leadership and poor policy choices that will worsen Ghanaians' living condition.
This year, you get $80 to $90 million losses. Why does the government ignore this reality and instead impose measures that further impoverish Ghanaians? Instead of fixing the system, the government has chosen the lazy path of shifting its failures onto already sovereign consumers. This will completely wipe out the meager 9% wage adjustment for 2026. Consequences, if the government does not listen to the call to withdraw the tariff hikes, they are going to cause: 1, escalating utility poverty, leaving more families unable to afford basic electricity. 2, collapse of SMEs, which form the backbone of our economy due to unbearable operating costs. We are already experiencing a teeming unemployment youth in the country. Job losses as industries scale down or shut down operations. 4, reduced productivity and competitiveness, further weakening the economy. And then 5, heightened social and economic hardship, deepens the suffering of workers and households. These tariff hikes are not reforms, they are punishment. They are not solutions, they are symptoms of failed leadership and poor policy choices. We call on the government to immediately halt these incessant increases.
In more news tonight, the Bawku mediation report is expected to be presented to President John Mahama on Thursday, December 11, 2025, at the Jubilee House. Notable institutions and personalities, including the National House of Chiefs, Peace Council, Christian Council, the Chief Imam, Catholic Secretariat, UNDP, British High Commission, elected regional ministers and the National Security Coordinator have been invited to the meeting. According to 3 news sources, the presentation marks a significant milestone in the national effort led by His Majesty the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II towards restoring lasting peace, stability and reconciliation in Bawku and its adjoining communities. Several mediation committees and efforts have been involved in the long-standing Bawku conflict, which primarily involves a chieftaincy and ethnic dispute between the Kusasi and Mamprisi communities.
Let's shift our attention to some other stories. One that doesn't seem to want to go away anytime soon. The Interior Ministry says it has no record of any assassination attempt on the Special Prosecutor, Kisie Jabin, directly contradicting claims made by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. In a statement issued today, the ministry said its checks show that no police station or state security agency has any report suggesting that the Special Prosecutor survived 2 attempts on his life. This follows comments by the OSP's Director of Strategy and Communication, Same Daku, who told Joy News that Kisie Jabin, the OSP, had escaped 2 assassination attempts and further alleged that he himself was handcuffed and beaten by 17 police officers. The Interior Ministry says the claims are serious and could undermine public confidence in Ghana's anti-corruption fight. It adds that Kisie Jabin reportedly indicated that the alleged threats happened before this year, yet there is no evidence or official document to that effect. The Interior Minister has now ordered a full-scale investigation into both the allegations of assassination and attempts and alleged police brutalities against Same Daku.
Now, government has cited major defects and the deteriorating condition of current fleet of aircraft as reason it is purchasing a new executive jet and 4 helicopters. The move since its announcement has been questioned by the minority, but aviation experts have urged strict discipline and maintenance to ensure the new aircraft lasts its lifespan. Here's a report by Christian Yali.
The presidential jet Falcon 900EX has suffered serious defects like corrosion in the tanks and fuel leakage, which grounded it several months for repairs in France. A report by the Defense and Interior Committee reveals the model is not in production, making acquisition of its parts challenging.
The aircraft has to undergo a leak test of the fuel tanks, a third engine ground run, painting of the wing lower panel, and finally, an acceptance flight will be performed. The Falcon 900 executive aircraft will return to Ghana after all the necessary tests.
Key Air Force aircraft like the Falcon 900EX, Mi-17, Z-9EH, and the CASA C-295M helicopters are either raging, unreliable, or experience prolonged downtimes due to severe technical faults. According to reports, almost all the helicopters are unserviceable. The reason Parliament has approved $60 million for the purchase of a new executive jet, Falcon 6X, and €125 million for 4 new helicopters.
I'm talking about 1.2 billion United States dollars to purchase presidential debt when you cannot pay nurses, when you cannot recruit workers.
Nowhere in this budget is $1.2 billion allocated for the purchase of a presidential jet.
They want to blow several billions of cedis, 3.6 billion cedis in the budget on luxury aircraft, in addition to the so-called pristine Falcon, all for the luxury and transportation of the president and the executive. There is not a single allocation to acquisition of fighter jets.
If we are saying that we would acquire 2 transport aircraft for the Ghana Air Force, it is because it is a requirement of the Air Force itself, and the ranking member knows this. It is not just about a presidential jet, Mr. Speaker.
The race, the usual politics, but experts agree aging aircraft are more expensive and life-threatening.
If you have an aging aircraft in the civil aviation system, for instance, aging aircraft, you have a maintenance program that you use in servicing the aircraft. At the same time, because of the structural integrity of the aircraft, you also need to do the aging aircraft maintenance program, which makes it very expensive. The aircraft can be unserviceable, and you can't get components to buy to replace them.
Benjamin Owusu, while touting the qualities of the Falcon 6X, wants enhanced training and maintenance culture for crew and engineers.
With regards to corrosion and all that, even the Falcon 6X can also encounter corrosion because of the location of our country. Because there are some components that when they are faulty, you definitely have to fix it within 24 hours. But when you exhaust the timeline for that particular the unserviceable component on the aircraft, then there's no way you can fly the aircraft. And so they must instill discipline and policy.
The presidential aircraft is part of the Air Force fleet, a reason the Falcon 6X is captured as being purchased for the Ghana Air Force. Payment for the delivery of the jet and the 4 helicopters is spread across a 4-year period beginning December 2025. Christian Yali, TV3 News.
In more news this evening, 1 year after the shock of December 7, Ghana is still feeling the impact politically, economically and socially. Tonight, we take a closer look at the challenges before the polls, changes that followed the landslide victory, and how the country's 2 main parties are preparing for what comes next.
12 months ago, millions of Ghanaians turned up at various polling stations to cast their ballots in both the presidential and parliamentary elections. The ballot did more than choose a president. It redrew Ghana's political map. An incumbent administration that tried to break the 2-term precedent faced an opposition determined to halt that agenda. A few hours after the polls closed, the then governing NPP held a media briefing during which The spokesperson of the party's flag bearer, Dennis Miracles Obwaje, claimed that the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, was losing the election.
The NDC are clearly losing these elections and they know it. As we speak, the elections have already been counted at the polling stations. We are winning these elections as a party. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is winning these elections.
The then opposition, National Democratic Congress, NDC, minutes later also held its own engagement on Sunday, 8th December. The party's communications officer, Sami Jenfi, said the results demonstrated a clear majority for the NDC in Parliament.
So far, even if you take out the contentious ones, the NDC is hovering around 185 parliamentary seats. And as you saw from the results we showed you, the presidential results, we are hovering around 56%. The difference between John Mahama and Alhaji Bawumia is over 1.5 million votes.
A year on, how has that goodwill translated into results? For some citizens, progress has been noticeable, promises turned into programs, and for others, promises still unfulfilled, the cost of living still high.
There's been noticeable changes, things that the government said they would do. I think they are on course.
When you get to the market, you don't see the changes in prices, and so you're not seeing that reflection in your pocket. There are some progress, we see them, but then this particular one is still a problem. We have to see the reflection in our pocket.
For the defeated NPP, the past year has been reorganization under pressure. A contentious post-election thank you tour exposed internal rifts. With the flag-bearer election due in January 2026, the NPP faces a sprint to present unity or risk further decline. The governing NDC is beginning internal conversations about assertion and party direction. Who succeeds President Mahama? Unofficially, some names have popped, but beyond the parties and individuals, what lessons did the 2024 elections teach the nation?
You cannot take voters for granted. The voter orientation seems to be changing, and voters are becoming more concerned about their personal development and national development.
The product of misgovernance is a testament to the gargantuan loss that the NPP government suffered. And so far, I also will suggest that it is also the way and manner the NDC conducted themselves and how they prosecuted their campaign, that in itself equally, inured to the benefit of the party.
The next general election is 3 years away, and the two major political parties, the governing NDC and the opposition, the NPP, are hoping that programs they are putting in place will inure to their benefit and translate into votes on December 7, 2028. Noble Crosbyan and TV3 News, Accra.
And I'm sure many of you seeing those videos of the rallies and some of the key individuals that spoke brings back nostalgic feelings of how your election command center covered the 2024 elections. We remain so, and hopefully 31st January, when the NPP goes to elect its flag bearer, trust us to bring you comprehensive coverage as well.
Let's now go to the Western region, where the fight against illegal mining in that region has entered a new phase, with a focus on the complete removal of all Chamfan machines to restore River and Cobra. The leader of the Anti-Illegal Mining Task Force and the Western Regional National Security Liaison Officer, Brigadier General Musa Waja warns any illegal miner found on the river will be dealt with. Irama Smith has more.
After several weeks of riverine operations in the Cobra River to restore its natural flow and reduce its turbidity, the Anti-Illegal Mining Task Force has developed a new strategy to no longer ban illegal mining equipment found on the river. The first phase of this new approach, which began from Jura-Riaso to Ampansie in the Evaluate Jura municipality, has already seen the removal of these Chamfang machines.
We have entered a new phase of our operation, and that is the removal of all Chamfangs, new and old damaged ones, including the platforms and other related galamsey equipment on the river. Now, our aim is to make sure that we cover the whole length and breadth of the Cobra River and remove all these unwanted items.
While commending the Western Naval Command for their crucial support in the anti-illegal mining campaign, Brigadier General Musa Waja, retired, issued a warning that after the current operation, any illegal miners found on the river would face uncompromising consequences.
We want to send warning to all illegal miners that once we have cleared the Nkobla River of all chamfines and platforms and other related illegal mining equipment, any equipment that we find on the Nkobla River, it means that that particular area, if personnel have crossed the start line. We want to warn them that there will be no compromise on this. So that is our warning that we are sounding to all of them. And it is going to be regular.
Irama Smith, TV3 News, Western Region.
From the Western region, let's go to the Bono region, where the Regional Police Command, through sustained intelligence-led operation, has arrested several members of criminal gangs involved in a series of robberies and other criminal activities in Bono and surrounding communities. The Bono Regional Police Commander, DCOP Joshua Copson, addressed journalists at a media event in Sunyai.
The suspects arrested in the course of the operations are Johnson and Ponsan Kwame Diwu, an ex-convict, age 47 years. Shadrach Owusu, also known as Shak, age 25 years. Kwafu Samuel, an ex-convict, age 30 years. Latif Mustafa, also known as Starboy, age 28 years. Mosby Owusu, age 20 years. Kofi Idrissa, age 45 years. Pabina Agon Azubila Akolote, 18 years. And Baba Kumi Foster, age 35 years. The police alone cannot do all. We need the public to support us to be able to achieve the success story we all want. For us, once you bring the information, we will definitely shield you.
And away from the Bono region, a failed coup attempt in Benin has stirred concern across West Africa, raising questions about the stability of one of the region's long-standing democracies. As Benin prepares for critical elections next year, the incident has deepened anxieties about political tensions, military fractures, and the growing wave of coups sweeping across the region. Enyonam Haliga takes a look at what happened and what it means for Benin and its neighbors.
It was a startling and surreal scene early Sunday, December 7, 2025, in the Beninese capital. Soldiers appeared on the national television claiming they had dissolved the government, ousted the president, and suspended the constitution.
The
Military Committee for the Refunding of the CMR has decided 1. The November 2025 Constitution is suspended. All institutions are dissolved. Political parties' activities are suspended until further notice. Land, maritime and air borders in Benin are closed until further notice. The seizure of power at this time translates the firm will of Military Committee for the Refunding to end the exclusion of all social classes in our country without any distinction. The next step is to restore national cohesion. The National Army will exert until further notice the fullness of the powers devoted to the state of Benin.
Now, the group calling themselves the Military Committee for Refoundation promised a new order, citing security failures and neglect of military personnel. But within hours, loyal forces regained control. By evening, the government declared the coup attempt foiled and about 13 suspects were arrested. For decades, Benin was viewed as a beacon of democratic continuity in a region often defined by upheaval. So why now?
The pervasive anti-French sentiments among young people, it's not new, but we have seen it expand and even sometimes exaggerated because of the background within these countries. That strong and growing anti-French sentiment seem to characterize the political developments and trajectory of security in these countries. While many young people feel frustrated and often reference France's own colonial or post-colonial and economic policies with French West African nations.
Analysts point to a volatile mix. The country heads into election next year. President Patrice Talon, 67, has said he will step down when his term ends as required by Constitution, but he has also banned the main opposition party from participating in the upcoming election and jailed key opposition figures. Now, at the same time, tensions have been building within the military over resources and operational pressures, especially with militant violence spilling over from the Sahel, while economic frustration among ordinary citizens continue to grow. Together, these factors appear to have been fueled widespread discontent, but what makes this more than a national crisis is how it closely mirrors a broader pattern across West Africa. Since 2020, 6 countries in the region have experienced successful military coups. Mali in 2020 and again in 2021, Guinea in 2021, Burkina Faso twice in 2022, Niger in 2023, and Guinea-Bissau just a month ago. Now, what does this mean for Benin and for West Africa is deeply unsettling. Even countries previously considered stable are no longer immune. For ordinary citizens, the risk of political uncertainty, economic decline, or rising insecurity feel real when institutions show signs of fragility. For now, coming of this weekend's upview lingers, serving a stark reminder that democratic stability in the region remains fragile.
The sub-regional body, ECOWAS, meanwhile, is set to deploy its standby force to help stabilize the country as the rest of the world comes to terms with the development.
You're still watching News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. Business, sports, entertainment are all coming up.
I love President Charcoal. Why? When there are so many other charcoal toothpaste. That's both charcoal and lemon. Oh, does it? Yes. Look right here.
Yes. Pepsodent Charcoal has 2 of nature's powerful whitening ingredients. With the power of activated charcoal and lemon essence, it removes stains and whitens teeth naturally.
Convinced? Well, I am. Just look at your beautiful Pepsodent.
Next. Hey, Nadia.
Good evening and welcome to the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Now, the Chartered Institute of Taxation Ghana says the government's decision to reduce and remove certain tax measures in the 2026 budget is unlikely to harm revenue performance and could instead boost public compliance. This report has the rest of the story.
The government recently announced the removal of the COVID-19 levy and a cut in the value-added tax rate. The measures have prompted concerns from some analysts who argue that the changes could undermine efforts to meet next year's revenue targets. But speaking at the Institute's graduation and membership induction ceremony, Vice President Fred Kwashiawuti said the adjustments were more likely to reduce tax evasion and support a culture of voluntary compliance.
If you reduce the burden of the tax payment, one thing about tax is that if the tax rate is too high, the taxpayer find way to pay, to evade the tax. So if you find a way to reduce it, like the reduction of the COVID-19 levy, or the elimination of the COVID-19 levy and the reduction of the VAT, effective VAT rate to 20%. You see, and then also the introduction of the input tax on the levy reduces the level of taxes or the amount of tax we pay. Then on the basis of that, it then increased the tax, and people who would have actually dodged the tax now they realize that they can claim input tax.
Ghana is making a decisive shift towards building a sustainable, nationally owned data ecosystem, with the government allocating 207 million cedis in the 2026 budget to advance critical statistical operations. Speaking at the inaugural 2025 Annual Forum for Data Producers, Users and Enhancers, Deputy Minister for Finance Thomas Nyako Ampem emphasized that data is not a cost, but an investment that yields up to $32 in economic returns for every dollar spent.
The forum underscored the shared commitment to placing high-quality data at the center of national development. Deputy Minister for Finance Thomas Nyako Ampem observed Ghana has already made remarkable strides in modernizing its statistical landscape.
Deployment of digital dissemination tools, including StatsBank and the Ghana Stats app, that has enhanced accessibility and public engagement. While these achievements are noteworthy, considerable structural challenges exist. Our data systems are still heavily dependent on donor financing. Administrative data platforms across MDAs are fragmented. Interoperability remains limited, and data sharing protocols are inconsistently applied.
Government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu assured the country is moving progressively to treat a national statistical system as core public infrastructure amid major data-driven reforms.
Data is the foundation of good governance, as we all know. When the numbers are clear, decisions become smarter, fairer, and more accountable. But ladies and gentlemen, the reverse is also true. If data is weak, patchy, or underfunded, the decisions will be too. Without timely, reliable statistics, effective planning is impossible.
United Nations Population Fund representative in Ghana and chair of the Ghana Statistical Service Development Partner Group, Dr. Wilfred Ochan, emphasized the importance of data-driven decision-making in achieving sustainable and inclusive progress.
Producing and disseminating data and statistics for policy and national development, and a reconfirmation of our shared commitment to leveraging data as a catalyst for sustainable development goal acceleration. It is therefore of utmost importance that data is timely, reliable, disaggregated, and of the highest quality for use for such an event and evidence.
The forum was under the theme Financing Innovations in Data and Statistics for Sustainable and Inclusive Development.
Three Trees Ghana Painting Limited, a fast-growing Ghanaian painting and interior finishing firm, has opened its new state-of-the-art showroom in the heart of Accra. The showroom will offer homeowners, contractors and businesses hands-on access to a range of decorative painting, protective coating and modern interior solutions.
At the opening ceremony, the chairman of Three Trees Painting Ghana, Zheng Xiangchun, emphasized that their products are manufactured to the highest quality standards.
Most of the Three Trees product has passed the world most strictly quality standard, which means the product is healthier to the people. And I think people, if they do the inside wall paint, most selling point is environmental friendly.
President of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders and Vice President of FIATA assured customers that Three Trees products offer true value for money.
Remember, they started this research like 5 years ago, which they come to the market, look at what the Ghanaians need. And I'm going to challenge Ghanaians that Three Trees, if they buy their products, I think they're not going to throw their money away.
CEO of GIAC Imports and Wholesale, Godslav Blessing, also reassured buyers that Three Trees paint products are formulated with safety in mind, making them especially safe for use in homes with children.
Whilst we want to make business, we should be focused on making the environment greener and healthier for everybody. So I investigated and I found out that Three Trees coming. I actually researched more about them and I realized that they are the ones actually promoting the healthy paint in a living environment.
With its new Accra showroom now open to the public, Three Trees Company Limited says it remains committed to delivering quality, innovation and healthier coating solutions to support Ghana's growing construction and home improvement needs.
We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market. And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Up next, the sports.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. Now, Black Stars midfielder Mohamed Kudus has stated that he's looking forward to facing England at the 2026 World Cup. Ghana were drawn in Group L alongside the 1966 World Cup champions, in addition to Panama and 2018 finalists Croatia.
Well, their approach is their part of the game, but I think to qualify for the World Cup alone is a big statement from us and shows what we can do, you know. So there's still a bit of time till that, so just focus here for now, and then definitely we'll prepare towards that as well. But it's good to have England in the group. Interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Playing against most of the players in the country here, so and some of the other guys that play here as well. So we are pretty much aware of the side we are facing and the quality they have, but we will definitely be up for it and be ready.
Now, Liverpool have left Mohamed Salah out of Tuesday's Champions League squad to face Inter Milan, but the forward is reportedly not expected to face any disciplinary action over his bombshell comments. His omission comes just 2 days after he gave an explosive interview following the 3-3 draw with Leeds, claiming he had been thrown under the bus, had no relationship with boss Arne Slot, and that Saturday's match with Brighton could be his final game at Anfield. There's more in this report. Hold on to their players as long as possible before the Africa Cup of Nations, Liverpool appear to be doing the exact opposite with Mohamed Salah. The Egyptian forward has been benched for 3 consecutive matches as Arne Slot attempts to revive Liverpool's season. Following the 3-3 draw with Leeds United, his third straight game on the sidelines, Salah made explosive remarks about the situation. The 33-year-old said, quote, "It seems like the club has thrown me under the bus. That's how I'm feeling. I think it is very clear that someone wanted me to get all the blame." He continued, quote, "I have said many times before that I had a good relationship with the manager, and suddenly we don't have any relationship. I don't know why, but it seems to me that someone doesn't want me at the club." End quote. Liverpool and Slot have since responded by omitting Salah from the squad ahead of their crucial Champions League match against Inter. Now to our final story. Adroba Roman Catholic Primary School from the Ahafo region has been crowned champions of the Milo Under-13 Champions League.
More than 100,000 school children from all 16 regions participated in the district, zonal and national phases, culminating in the final match between Adroba RC from Ahafo region and Franco International School from the Western North region. Adroba RC emerged victorious, taking home a trophy, jerseys, training vests, medals and 50,000 Ghana cedis to invest in sports development. Second placed Franco International School received a trophy, 2 sets of jerseys, a training vest, medals and 30,000 Ghana cedis, while St. Francis Preparatory School from the Bono region claimed third with medals and 20,000 cedis. Manager of Corporate Communication and Public Affairs at Nestle Ghana, Deborah Kwabla, stressed the importance of combining football with education.
The core values that we expected and some of the core achievements that we expected out of this tournament, to be able to get the young people to play, to have fun, but more importantly to be able to get stars out of them.
Category manager of Nestle Ghana, Myron Otu, was impressed about the performance of the teams.
To beat a team this good, you need to have played as a team. These are values that on and off the pitch, it really leads to lifelong success. And so when we catch them young and you instill these values, it lasts them a lifetime.
The tournament icon and former Black Stars captain Stephen Appiah touched on the tournament's role in discovering stars such as Fatawu Shahaku, Kelvin Nkrumah and others.
It saddens my heart that after this tournament, where are they going? So we have to do something to keep these boys. I'm worried that the next generation, if they are not playing for the national team, who are going to replace them? But through Milo, I think that we still have hope that the future is bright for Ghana football.
That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. There's more on the bulletin after the break.
Good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, one more contestant has said their goodbyes to the Mentor 14 competition after week 6's performances, and that is Sine, and her eviction leaves 11 contestants still in the battle for the ultimate prize. And once again, for the second time, sensational singer Andy Kwams has claimed the star performer title on the Ghana Mashup Night. It was another exciting night on Mentor 14. Week 6 delivered stunning performances and intense tests as contestants took on some of Ghana's top hit songs, but the night ended with one heartbreaking farewell. This week, Sine's journey came to an end, leaving just 11 contestants still fighting for the ultimate prize.
It's quite sad for me because tonight has been exceptional. I wished there was no eviction tonight, but all in all, we just need to do the business. Sine, please step forward, please. I know that there is something within. You're still young. Keep on pushing, okay? This is not the end of the road. Keep on pushing, because if you keep pushing, I believe you will see your potential. Congratulations to you one more time. It's unfortunate it's the end of the road for you, but we want to give the church boy another chance to see him next week.
Amid the tension, one voice rose above the rest. For the second time, the sensational Andy Kwams won the coveted Star Performer title. His powerful mashup of Black Sharif Sumobi and Kwabena Kwabena's Bwekwan lit up the stage. His talent, his presence, his power are undeniable. With only 11 contestants left, the competition is tighter. The pressure is higher and the stage has never been brighter.
Imagine that, 1,000 demos, we're not even a single deal. I wonder if things are ever gonna be real. Only I and I alone know how we...
Well, that's it for the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
Tonight in this segment, the head of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, has described an attack on a kindergarten and hospital in Sudan, which he said killed 114 people, as senseless. Drones were used to attack the facilities on Thursday in the town of Kaloji in the South Kordofan region, with 63 children said by the UN to be among the dead. The Rapid Support Forces, one of the sites in the country's raging civil war, was accused by both its enemy, the army, and a medical organization, the Sudan Doctors Network, of mounting the attack. In another development, the RSF claimed control of the country's largest oil field. In more international news, a powerful magnitude 7.6 earthquake has struck Japan's northeast region late on Monday, prompting tsunami warnings and orders for residents to evacuate. Japan is one of the world's most earthquake-prone countries, with a tremor occurring at least every 5 minutes. Tsunami warnings were issued for the prefectures on Hokkaido, Aomori, and Iwate, and a tsunami on 40 centimeters had been observed at Aomori's Michu Ogara and Hokkaido Okara ports before midnight.
We are happy that you always make time to stay with us throughout the bulletin. We are bringing today's session to an end. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Asiedu Date.
And I am Portia Gabodu. Join Alfredo Kansa at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight. Good evening.